Okay, welcome. Really excited about the session today. Hi, I'm Mark Giser. I'm the creator of Energetic NLP, and today we're going to be healing our relationships with our fathers. I'm saying fathers plural because many of us, not me, many of you have more than one man that you think of in terms of being your father. So take a couple easy deep breaths. I think you're going to really like today. We're going to be working on conscious beliefs, unconscious beliefs and programming, energetic programming, pain, trauma, reasonable and unreasonable expectations that you had of your father, and really changing on all levels, consciously, unconsciously, energetically, and spiritually, your relationship with your father. So we have a lot to do today, and I wanted to start with a story of a client I had years ago. And Energetic NLP uses the best of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, which is a more logic, psychological system, along with transformative and healing energy work, intuition development, spiritual principles. And I was working with a man years ago, and in NLP, sometimes if you have good rapport with somebody, sometimes you deliberately kind of push their buttons a bit so that they'll open up their thinking. We'd worked together really well and we had really good rapport. So I knew I could push him a little bit. And he goes, Art, my problem is that my father never approved of anything I ever did. And I went, well, that's not true. And he went, excuse me? I went, that's not true. And he goes, how do you know you weren't there? And I went, still wasn't true. And he's starting to get a little irritated and goes, what do you mean? And I go, did your father tell you everything you did wrong? And he goes, yes. I go, did he do it to your mother too? Yes. Did he do it to your brother too? Yes. And I go, so he told all of you every single thing you did wrong? And he goes, yes. And I went, so everything he didn't mention, it means he approved of. And my client went, oh. And I went, I'm not saying that's good parenting. That's not the way I would suggest somebody be a father. And I'm not suggesting you would have understood that when you were a child, but you're grown up now. And it's time to reclaim the fact that he approved of lots of things that you did. Unfortunately, he never mentioned them, but you can now open up to that there was a great deal of approval and he just didn't know he needed to say it out loud. I mean, it seems obvious to you, but a lot of people don't know that. And he told me later it changed his whole relationship with his father. That he was able to go, oh, he approves of this and this and this and this. And even when his father didn't approve, he could take it differently. So in our session today, I hope you're going to be open to connecting with your own spirit and your own inner wisdom and letting go of any beliefs you hold about your father or fathers. I'm just going to say singular, fathers, stepfathers, adopted fathers, foster fathers. That you're willing to update your beliefs according to your personal evolution and your spiritual ideas now. It wasn't your father's job to be the perfect father that you wanted him to be. That's a recent idea. Not everybody even buys it now. That wasn't the way a lot of men were brought up. That wasn't culturally what was thought of. I mean, there were a lot of cultures where you sent your kids off to schools, to live in schools as soon as you could. I mean, and I'm not saying good, bad, or indifferent on that. I'm just saying cultural beliefs change, and we live in a time, and I'm thrilled when I'm out in public and I see fathers responding in ways that that are more 21st century, that where they are taking responsibility and being very loving and really doing their best to be a great influence on their child. But that doesn't mean that every man should have known that, and it certainly doesn't mean it in the past. And the day that I'm first recording this, it's an interesting day for me because yesterday was the anniversary of my mother's passing. Tomorrow is the anniversary of my father's passing. And I remember a wonderful NLP trainer, and she does a lot more, named Jo Erickson years ago. She used to sponsor my workshops in Michigan and does great work with people. And one day this was many, many years ago. She goes, "You don't get it, Art." And I go, "What?" And she goes, "Most men didn't have a good relationship with their father." And I went, "They didn't?" and, and she goes, "No, you did. Most men didn't." And I started thinking about people that I knew, and probably not surprisingly, of my closest friends, some of them did, some of them didn't. But when I thought of people in general, I realized, gee, I know an awful lot of men. And when I think of my clients who had at best troubled relationships with their father, and very few that had incredible relationships with their father. And the same with my female clients. And this was back, oh gosh, must have been in the 90s. And I just had never really generalized it and thought about it. So what we're doing right now is an opportunity, again, to let your inner wisdom and spirit, not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is just meant as a way to get you to challenge and open up your own thinking. But it's an opportunity to change your conscious beliefs and expectations about your father, whether he's alive or not. And if he's not alive, perhaps go back in your history and recapture more of the good things. It'll be an opportunity to clear pain and trauma, because I know some of you had some really bad experiences with your fathers, and a way to open up, whether again your father is still in a body or not, open up to having love with your father. Or for some of you, maybe opening up to completely letting go of that relationship. And I had a client once who, her whole life, she blamed her mother. The father left when she was just a little girl. And her mother is a really good person, but she can be difficult. She's just not an unusual person. And she always blamed her mother for driving the father away and held this grudge against her mother her whole life. And I think when she was in her 50s, something like that, she actually tracked down her father. And because he'd never been in touch with the family again. And she got back in touch with him and, got to know him. So her whole life, she blamed her mother for her father leaving and blamed her father for leaving too. And she said, now that I know him, I think we were lucky that he left. He's not the greatest. See, he wasn't like, he's not an evil person or anything. But she goes, that's very lucky he wasn't in my life. And so she could actually have forgiveness for her mother, but also even a certain amount of gratitude for her father for leaving. Not that he did it for them, but that was actually probably a good thing, and she could actually have some gratitude for that. So again, all of this, I hope this is helpful, that just intended to loosen up all of our beliefs. I mean, one of my mentors in coaching years ago, he used to tell clients all the time, he goes, yes, your parents weren't perfect. They didn't go to perfect parent school because, there wasn't any back then. And again, I'm not trying to make light of what for some of you were really horrendous experiences or just really hurtful experiences. And I'm not making light of a lack of attention or all of these things that we certainly would say are bad parenting. But at this point in our lives, the opportunity is to find love and forgiveness. And I have some amazing people that I know and clients who have managed to completely forgive their fathers and just have a new relationship with them. Again, whether they're alive or no longer in a body, but they're able to just, as an adult, move on. And part of what we're going to be doing in this session, because, and I don't have time to go into any of these in details, but a lot of you are aware of the fact that on a spiritual perspective, time isn't necessarily linear. So biologically, we experience time as linear. But and it's something we get into a lot in the advanced energetic NLP programs. But there's a lot of evidence that time isn't linear. There's even experiments in physics where they do things, and the only way you can interpret the experience is that doing something in the present changed the past. And I don't have time to get into those, and I'm not a physicist, but you could look up, if you're interested, Google something like, can time go backwards, or can the present, in physics, can the present influence the past? And at least on a molecular level, they've proved, at least they consider it proved, that they do things and it changes what happened in the past. And there was an interesting experiment. And as somebody, I managed a research lab for 11 years, a medical research lab for the University of California Medical School in San Francisco. And I never completely trust research if I haven't read it. But my understanding is a doctor in Israel did a really interesting experience. He took two groups of people that were hospitalized, and there's ways you can match them up. They're similar ages, similar pre-existing conditions, similar current conditions. So he matched up a bunch of people, and then one group he had people pray for, and the other group, nobody, they didn't pray for them. And he did the experiment apparently because he wanted to prove it didn't work. And it did work. The people that were prayed for did better. By statistical analysis, did significantly better than the people that weren't prayed for. But that's not even the interesting part of the experiment. The interesting part, at least in what I read about it, was all of these people had already, it was already over. He took people that their illness had been in the past, and the people that prayed for them in the past. And the people that they prayed for in the past did better than the people that they didn't pray for in the past. So make of that what you will. But I hope, just take an easy deep breath, and let's for this next 20 minutes or so, let's let this space, we're working in an energetic space, and often we imagine like a giant gold ball of energy filled with amethyst colors, which are lavenders to deep purples. And there's a reason for those colors that we don't need to get into right now. But just imagine that this is our Energetic NLP Energy Spa space, our healing, our relationships with our Father space. And let's just pretend right now this is a space of miracles, whether you believe it or not. Just pretend like, okay, space, set that intention. It's a space of miracles. This is a space of no effort. This is a space where our inner wisdom and our spirits are going to work with all of us in this session. And that includes those of you who are watching this recording. Because remember, we're playing with the idea that time isn't really linear on a spiritual level. So whether you're listening to this on the day that it was recorded or in the future, pretend it's happening right now. And this is a space where, and please set this intention, because in Energetic NLP, we always set intention and give permission. So if you're willing to set the intention that each and every one of us is going to get a wonderful healing on our relationships with our Father or fathers, if you have more than one, set your intention that each and every one of us right now is receiving a wonderful healing on our relationship with our fathers, whatever that is for each one of us. And give 100% permission for that to happen, especially for that to happen for you right now. A lot of you are getting really serious. In Energetic NLP, we've discovered that the lighter you are, the more playful you are, the more powerful the healings are, and the more quickly you develop your abilities. So again, I realize for some of you, your childhoods were incredibly serious. But right now, come from a place of joy. Healing is so much more powerful when you come from joy. Even if you have to fake it, smile, because your body actually physiologically changes if you even if it's you're deliberately smiling. And just bring in universal love and joy. And we're going to start healing the relationships with our fathers. We're going to heal the past, the present, and the future. We're going to heal consciously, unconsciously, energetically, spiritually. In Energetic NLP, you always put your spirit and your inner human wisdom in charge of what happens for you. So this will work 1,000,000 times better. You'll get 1,000,000 times more benefits in healing if you let go of any kind of conscious control. Just let go of it and go, okay, my spirit, my inner human wisdom are in charge of what happens, what gets healed, and what changes. If programming and beliefs get released, your spirit and your inner wisdom will replace them immediately with what will heal you and help you in your next steps of your spiritual journey. Easy deep breaths. Now, when your spirit with its vast awareness and your human inner wisdom with its day-to-day, minute-by-minute, second-by-second practical aspects, when your spirit and your human inner wisdom are closely aligned and working together, we call that your miraculous self. So your miraculous self is something that forms when your spirit and your inner human wisdom are working together. So if you want to, and I hope you do want to, right now, imagine your human inner wisdom and your spirit working together. And that my job is to bring the energies in, because one of the things that I teach and one of the things that I've studied since about 83 is remote energy work. That's 1983. And remote energy work is something anybody can learn to do. But right now, just allow the energies to come in and give them 100% permission to be guided by your miraculous self, your inner wisdom and spirit, to change any conscious beliefs about your father and about your relationship to your father and what your father should or shouldn't have done. Let your miraculous self decide what beliefs it wants changed, and let it just change them. And it'll work best if you don't consciously track it at all. Just pretend it's happening. You'll find out later if it happened. For right now, just pretend it's happening. And let the same thing happen with unconscious beliefs and unconscious programming. And let the same thing happen with the energetic and spiritual programming in your body and in your energy field and in your DNA. And we're not trying to do it all at once. This is a recording. You'll be able to watch it at least for a limited time here on Facebook, and it'll be on YouTube at least for a while. But if you watch it again in a few days or a week, you'll go much further with it. We're not trying to do it all at once. So easy, deep breaths, just whatever happens right now. Take all the pressure off yourself. There isn't any doing it right. Just let it flow. And even those of you that had completely wonderful relationships with your father, like I was lucky enough to have, doesn't mean there isn't pain and trauma. In my case, my father died when I was 15 while I was giving him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. I promise you there's pain and trauma there. But it can be released. We can let go of it. And even healing can go back to our younger selves to help our younger selves process and understand experiences better. So for the man that I mentioned earlier, imagine if his younger self had known, gee, everything my father doesn't mention, he approves of. I'm getting all this approval all the time. I mean, think how that would have changed your life. If it would have changed your childhood, it would have changed everything in your life up to the present moment, and then it would have gone out into the future, improving everything in your life. So just imagine your younger self, your present self, and your future self all getting wonderful healing and enhancement on the relationship with your father. Easy deep breaths. Hmm. There's an NLP trainer named Nelson Zink. And one of the ways he would work with people on their relationship with their parents is he'd go, how old are you now? And they'd tell him whatever age they were. And he'd go, and how old were your parents when they did whatever it is that the person was upset about? You know, and of course, a lot of times they go, gee, my parent was, if they're in 20s or 30s, they might go, oh, my parent was my age. Or they might go, gosh, my father, my mother, they were really young. They had no idea what they were doing. They couldn't look up on the internet, what do you do if your kid cries all the time or won't do what you want? Um, you know, for the most part, they were just acting out of their programming. And the things that your father did well, that you that you approve of and that you like, haven't, excuse me, get a sip. Let yourself have enormous gratitude for that. Even the things, it really helps to have gratitude for the things that you just took for granted. Like, I mean, I thought, well, of course my father goes to work and works super long hours and works super hard to support us. I mean, that's what fathers do. You know, I mean, I was proud of what he did, but I also took it for granted that of course he did that. Just as I took for granted what my mother did. There we go. Sometimes our parents help us by being bad examples. I've known a number of men who are really, really good fathers. And the reason they're good fathers is their father wasn't a good father. And as a child, they vowed to themselves, like, when I have kids, I'm going to be different. I'm going to treat my kids well. So, I mean, there's just so many webs of cause and effect. Easy deep breaths. We're going to bring in some different energies now. Just relax, let them work. I haven't mentioned if you feel the energies, that's great. If you don't feel them, that's also great. If you get sleepy or trancy, that's great. If you stay wide awake, that's great. If you feel temporary aches and pains, that's great. That's often happens when we're clearing blocks, or sometimes we yawn or sneeze or our eyes water, or we feel like we have to stretch or move. And if you don't feel any of that, that's also fine. If you're thinking mundane thoughts, it's fine. If you're thinking profound thoughts, that's fine. It's just let yourself have whatever reactions you're having. And it should be obvious that emotions may be coming up. And you don't have to do anything with those emotions. Just acknowledge them, be mindful of them, and let them flow out. They're going to be old, trapped emotions. And a lot of it will be emotional energy that isn't even really yours. It connected in your mind with your father in different kinds of ways or in your energy system, but it really wasn't even any of yours in the first place. Easy deep breaths. And for extra credit, for extra credit, like I said, we do try to be amused when we do these things. If you have a lot of anger towards your father, you don't have to not have that anger, though if you want to release a lot of it, that's a very good thing. And of course, you can still have your boundaries with somebody. You don't have to have anger to have boundaries. But whether you had a good relationship with your father or not, let your miraculous self bring in compassion for your father. I mean, if your father was angry and had a temper, have compassion for the internal suffering he was having. If your father was really self-centered, have compassion for the way he cut off love and relationship in his life. At least deep love and deep relationship. If your father always tried to tell you what to do, have compassion for the fact that at least he cared and he thought he was doing the right thing. Take a moment and really validate your uniqueness. That your true parent is spirit. Put a symbol out to represent your father and let the earth send a grounding cord into it and let it drain off all the energy that wasn't really your father, so that what you're left is the essence of your father. In energetic NLP, we would say that every human being, no matter how terrible they may have acted, in their essence, they're a beautiful and powerful spiritual being. So just allow yourself to see and validate and connect with the essence of your father, even if he never manifested a drop of it. Don't deny yourself. You're not doing this for him, you're doing it for you. Again, whether they had a great relationship or not, just allow yourself to see, hear, feel his authentic essence, this beautiful spiritual being that is the ultimate reality of what he was. There's one little extra piece for those of you whose fathers are no longer in a body. Say hello to them as a spirit and ask them to pull out of your space any pain or trauma or beliefs that came from them, that as a spirit they wouldn't have deliberately put in your space. So let them as a spirit pull out things that limit you or hurt you. And then your miraculous self will replace them. And for those of you whose parents are still living, saying hello again to that symbol of their pure essence, ask their pure essence to pull out of your energy field pains or traumas or limiting beliefs that you got from them or through them. Very good. And now let's bring in energies to help you process and integrate what we've done. You're going to be processing, integrating this for days to weeks to months. Obviously, our fathers have a major influence on us. So allow energies to come in so that you can more elegantly, easily, flowingly process what we've done. And if you're doing anything after this session, this Energetic NLP Energy Spa session, that requires safety, set your intention and give permission for your unconscious mind and your miraculous self to turn down the processing and make sure you're grounded, safe, alert, grounded, safe, alert, grounded, safe, and alert. And then for all of us tonight when you're sleeping, not all night, just a portion of the time when you're sleeping tonight and for the next 7 nights, your unconscious mind and your miraculous self can review what we did in this session. And it can make it richer and deeper, higher and wider. It can make it more multidimensional. While you sleep tonight for the next 7 nights, it will infuse what we did with your inner wisdom and infuse it with wisdom, knowledge, information, skills, and abilities from your spirit. And this can happen automatically while you sleep soundly and deeply and wake up feeling refreshed. And this can happen automatically tonight and for the next 7 nights. In an energetic NLP, after we've done a big energy shift, we ask our miraculous selves to send out spiritual emails. And spiritual, because your energy field has shifted and shifted to something better and more authentic. Better and more authentic. But it's different. And it can throw people off because on the inner level, they notice it's different. And even pets, it can really affect pets. So let your miraculous self send out little spiritual emails to everybody and going, oh, this is my energy system now. Just informing you so you're comfortable with it, recognize it. And you're not asking for approval or anything. You're just informing them. It's like, FYI, for your information, this is my energy. And your miraculous self can do that. Excellent. And then let's dissolve our group energy space and ask your miraculous self to pull your energy out of everybody else's space, particularly mine. Pull your energy and programming back, and I'm going to pull my energy and programming out of your space. And anything we want to release, our miraculous self just sends into the earth. But retrieve your own energy out of everybody else's space. And I'll do the same. And then ask your miraculous self to fill you up, your body, your cells, your DNA, your chakras, your energy field, your energy channels, your aura all around you, your energy field. Ask your miraculous self to fill up any space that was created with your authentic essence. Fill it up with your authentic essence and with earth and universal energies that will help you heal and shift and improve and enhance the relationship with your father. And just pretend that's happening right now. From the heart of the earth, let a column of energy come up, at least as wide as a meter, 3 feet. Let it come up near the base of your spine and let the earth do all the work. It just sends the column up. Give the earth permission to ground your authentic essence, only your authentic energy and essence, into your body. And a fun way to imagine that is to imagine that every cell in your body has a point of light in your energy field. And when the earth grounds you, every point of light goes in the cell it belongs in. It just pop, goes right back where it belongs. And that grounding column is sending healing, nurturing, validating, loving, acknowledging energy up from Mother Nature, Mother Earth. And at the same time, any other energies or emotions or anything you want to release that will help you enhance your relationship with your father, that's gently going into the earth, just really gently. You can just drip. Okay, go ahead, stomp your feet, pat your body. Really, really important to drink water after this. I mean, you can rest for a while, but before you go to sleep tonight, drink a lot of water. Also, do at least a little movement or stretching, even if it's just, really light stretching, because your energy field and your body are intertwined. So when you improve your energy field, your body wants to realign in a better way. You could take a hot bath or shower, take a little walk, or just lightly stretch. If you want to, you can do heavy exercise and heavy stretching too. But just at least do a little bit of movement and just notice your body's kind of going, oh, okay, that's better. But just really light if you're not used to doing that. Please do comment. Facebook will organically show things to people if they think people value it. And their order of hierarchy is if you share it, if you do a watch party, I think that's the best. Sharing it is next. Making a comment is next. And then the little hearts likes are next. So love it if you would do that. And this will be recorded and be up on the Energetic NLP Facebook page for a while. And it will also be on YouTube for a while. And at some point fairly soon, I'm going to start taking them down. There's a whole bunch of videos now. And you'll get a lot more out of this if you watch it again in a few days or a week. Don't watch it again right away unless you came in late. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's such a pleasure to work with all of you. And keep enhancing your own lives, making the world a better place. I think healing our relationships with our parents is one of the ways that we're not only improving our own lives, and of course, the lives of our relatives or children or grandchildren, but really making the world a better place for all of us. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And talk to you next week. Have a wonderful rest of your day. So bye, everybody.